chapter to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice is always based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that at this, the 5th General Session of the 94th Kansas FFA Convention, there are 2,173 members and guests present. Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this session of the 94th Kansas FFA Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. Today we are honored to have Mr. Joe Kern from the Girard FFA chapter joining us for opening ceremonies. He is retiring after 33 years of working with thousands of students. Aside from the teams, awards, proficiencies, degrees, and competitions, Mr. Kern's more memorable experiences are working with beginning ag teachers for 10 years. The careers of former students include medical doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, veterinarians, electricians, welders, plumbers, teachers, mechanics, farmers, ranchers, artists, salespeople, and scientists that owed their beginnings to agricultural education. Mr. Kern's involvement with the communities that he has served are a hallmark to his career. His wife and 5 children and their families will remain his focus for the years to come. 7 grandchildren and increasing will provide plenty for him to do also. Please join me in thanking Mr. Kern for his investment in his students over the years. With the kindest heart on our team, your Session 5 chair is ready to become best friends with anyone she meets. She's got an undying love for her cows, her Xbox, and the future of agriculture. She wears her heart on her sleeve and is certainly proud of it. With that, I am so excited to introduce you to your Session 5 chair, the 2021-2022 State FFA Sentinel, Josie Schmidt.
Good morning, Kansas FFA, and welcome to the 5th session of the 94th Convention. Kansas is a state that sits directly in the middle. The geographical middle of our nation is in Smith County, Kansas. Many people focus on the east or west coast, but it's important to remember what keeps us centered. Kansas is the heart of our nation, and what makes it beat true is its people. Across the 105 counties are people who are shooting to the stars. and showing just what our state motto is all about. By working hard and coming together, it is the people in this state that make it feel like home. This morning, we will see some hardworking people and their achievements. First up, we will hear from our Kansas FFA treasurer, Jocelyn Dvorak, as she gives her retiring address. Next, we will recognize our chapters participating in National Chapter Awards. Mr. Shoulders will give us an update on the state of agriculture education, followed by Quiz Bowl and Marketing Plan CDE recognition. We will also recognize those who will represent our state at National Convention in the fall. Then, we will have our Steele Scholarship presentation and CDE Sweepstakes award winners. Lastly, we will recognize our June Beaver, Orchelin, Ford, and National Scholarship winners. Kansas FFA members and guests, get ready for this 5-star session. Please help me welcome Raven Stroud to the stage for a special introduction.
Kansas FFA, I stand before you today because of a woman who speaks not through words, but of deeds, who has experienced the struggles of former years and has engaged in agricultural pursuits. She shows leadership through herself and has a great respect for others. She understands honest wealth and plays square with those whose happiness may or may not depend on her. It is an honor for me to be an influencer of her life and home as much as she is on mine. Kansas FFA, may I introduce to you your state treasurer, Jocelyn Dvorak.
What was the scariest experience I ever had while cooking? Great question, glad you asked. I was using an industrial-sized gas stove. I could not, for the life of me, turn it off. And every time I switched the knob to the off position, I could still see this flickering flame at the bottom of the stove. I was ready to call the fire department when I was stopped, mid-dial. I was told that the flame was not a gas leak, the stove was not a transformer, and I was not going to be charged with any form of arson. The flame at the bottom was simply a pilot light. Thought to myself, pilot light or not, I am not going to be the one calling insurance tomorrow saying, I think I burnt a house down. But what kind of coverage do you got me? What happens for a pilot light? What I wasn't understanding was the pilot light could be on while the stove was off. It wasn't the fact that the stove couldn't turn off. The pilot light is simply the potential to ignite the stove. Potential is a really interesting word because it's not fascinating, dangerous, or powerful in itself, but when it's ignited, that's what counts. Each and every one of us have our own little pilot lights that fuel our hopes, our dreams, and our futures. But how do we ignite our potential in our pilot light? And can everyone ignite their potential? Let's think of what would happen if we had never stepped into McCain, never zipped up a jacket. In fact, we weren't even in the United States. Among maybe severe poverty, foraging through a landfill. Something like this. This is Alma. Alma was born in the Diez de Mayo colonia of Reynosa, Mexico. Born with absolutely nothing, she grew up to have even less. In fact, on the darkest day of Alma's life, she was walking out of prison trying to forget the screams she heard from her husband, who was incarcerated inside of it, saying, "You will never amount to anything." Let that set. someone that you love, someone that's supposed to love you, the last thing they ever tell you, beating against your eardrums, you will never amount to anything. Now, Alma could have gone home, sat with only God as company, and not done anything more with her life. But Alma is so much more than the poverty, abuse, and sadness around her. What if I told you now, Alma's a political leader for the Colonia, that she spends every day helping to build houses, feed thousands, and even send children to school to avoid trafficking. Before Alma, the Colonia was eating frogs out of pickle jars. And now they're raising nurses, college graduates, and even more potential. But if Alma had let her circumstances define her success, she never would have impacted, inspired, and ignited the potential around her. So what in Alma gives her potential? What is potential? Potential is that driving force in our souls to find and execute our purpose. Many of us have been told that we're special, that there's something in this world that you can only offer. But how do you find and invest in that something special when truly we don't even know what it is? The key is we have to find the thing that lights our pilot light, our passions in life. For Alma, it was simply helping people. But what about some more of those familiar faces in history? Gandhi skipped meals. Malala went to school. Rosa Parks sat down, and Martin Luther King had a dream. Jane Austen was a spinster that wrote in her diary. And Jesus loved people. Now, some of the history buffs are kind of shifting uncomfortably in their seats at how I condensed some of the world's greatest historical figures into mere sentence fragments. They all have stories. They're all in books. Some of them even wrote books. But what do they all have in common? Ignited potential. And we read their stories, gliding through the pages, living vicariously through them, thinking, I will never be able to fill those lines. But their condensed stories are just evidence that small actions change big ways. But they had to ignite their own potential. And when we ignite our potential, draft our own story, and don't stop at history books, we can change the course of history and leave footprints that have never been marked before. So how do we invest in our pilot lights to get it to burn brighter? The greatest investor I ever met was not a businessman. He was not an accountant, and he wasn't a banker. His name was Chris Vitt. Now, Mr. Vitt was the coolest biology teacher on the block. And every day, he had a brand new lesson full of faith, love, and compassion to teach us along with his curriculum. But I didn't realize just how much Mr. Vitt invested in people until I was a senior in high school. I was taking college biology online and needed a mentor terribly. And although retired and mid-pandemic, Mr. Vitt sat in his driveway with me, 6 feet apart, and tutored me in college biology. This doesn't sound revolutionary whatsoever, but Mr. Vitt was also battling something else, glioblastoma, which was a tumor in his brain that only had one inevitable outcome. But with cancer taking up more space in his mind than it was paying rent for, Mr. Vitt was investing his knowledge in me. Time was of the essence, and he was investing his valuable seconds in my mere existence. And that taught me something. Mr. Vitt can't be here today, but he's here in every student he taught, person he mentored, and pilot light that he ignited. He also taught me that I am worth the investment. In Kansas FFA, so are you. So pick up your pen, draft that story we talked about earlier, and figure out what you need to do to be the person you were meant to be. Now, a lot of you are thinking, Jocelyn, I'm just not that special. There's nothing new about this one. Sometimes we are our greatest enemies at extinguishing a pilot light. I bet some of you today are a lot like Alma. Maybe someone looked at you at some point in your life and said you would never amount to anything. Maybe you looked in the mirror, told yourself that. I will never amount to anything. I used to do the same thing. Tear myself apart, try to find something I couldn't like about myself, till I found the thing I hated the most. I talked too much. Many of you probably remember taking grade cards to your parents, and the notes in the bottom were, can't sit her next to Sally, she talks too much. I have a teacher in the audience today that probably wrote that on my grade card. But as I grew up, I decided I was going to try my hardest to play hush puppies for eternity. I decided I was not going to be social anymore. I didn't want to ask questions, didn't want to have an opinion, and a lot of you guys are thinking, when have you ever tried being silent? But that was just proof that no matter how hard I tried, this little girl could not keep her mouth shut. Then I was found by a teacher named Kate Miller. Now, Ms. Miller walked up to me one day and said, Jocelyn, you're going to join Forensics, which is a speech, theater, and drama club. I thought, as opposed to forensic science, guess I'll give it a try. I went from hating every vibration that came out of my voice box to writing 5 to 7 minute speeches in under 3. My potential had been ignited, and I was going to share it with the world, especially in FFA. I started writing workshops for my SAE, advocating for agriculture, and even making talks for churches about agricultural missions. And it led me to this very moment. Kansas FFA, I'm here speaking to you because I talk too much. What was my greatest hindrance, I used under training to become my greatest asset. And I'm still not perfect, but that's the cool part about potential. It can always be fueled and ignited. Furthering my love for creating art with words, I searched far and wide for the perfect definition for the worth of the human soul. And I found that there are none. English is learned, but our thoughts and our conscience, that's innate. There is not a word in the dictionary that describes how valuable you are to this world. And your potential, it's not defined in Merriam-Webster. So why do we constantly let our own self-doubt and other people define it for us? As I started my year as a Kansas State officer, I have seen potential ignited in some of the most amazing ways. I've seen students pick themselves up from ground zero like Alma. I've seen them invest in each other like Mr. Vitt invested in me. And I've even gotten to see why Mr. Vitt loved investing so much when I saw the sparks and light bulbs flicker in students' minds. And lastly, I've seen students find the beauty in their own perceived flaws. For those of you in the blue today, the corduroy, is more than just a uniform. Whether you grew up in agriculture, are just along for the ride, or are just getting started, you're here for a reason. You came today for a purpose, and blue, it's definitely your color. Don't let other people define your purpose and your potential. So you know what? Zip your jacket up with pride. Know your worth and spend every day finding new ways to ignite your potential.
Jocelyn, you are someone who truly has amazing energy. You love people and bees love you. We will always appreciate your jokes and references to old country songs. You have such a kind heart, and you're always willing to help at the drop of a hat. We appreciate everything you've done, and we can't wait to see what adventures await. And just know, we'll always be one phone call away. Love, Eric, Ashley, Rachel, Lydia, and Josie. Kansas FFA, I am proud to present your Kansas FFA treasurer, Jocelyn Dvorak. Please join me in welcoming those individuals who have helped transform Jocelyn into the leader she is today.
Mom, it started in the walks across the parking lot, you holding my hand saying, "Let's go, Mickey Mouse, time to go shopping." Since then, I've grown a little taller and a lot older, but you still walk across the parking lot with me, even though you don't always hold my hand. You still do try to sometimes. You're always there to stand by me. From the very beginning to even now, you're always there to make for sure that I am putting my best foot forward and getting any little bits of advice that I need. Dad, you and I are just about the same, and although my hair is a little longer, I feel like we have the same thoughts on just about everything. Thank you for being the example I needed to show my fullest potential. You've taught me the true meaning of hard work, integrity, and honesty, and how it can get me anywhere I need to go in life. You both have shown me how much you've loved me, and the world how much you've loved me, for almost 20 years now, and it's a little unfair I only get 30 seconds to tell everyone how much I love you. Thank you for always pushing me to be the best I can be, and in the words of Uncle Jerry, be good and be good at it. Kansas FFA, let me present to you my parents, Jason and Nancy Dvorak, in the receiving of their honorary state FFA degree. FFA and ag education really comes down to how great their ag teachers are. And I have to say, my advisors were the best you could get. Mrs. James, thank you for being a part of my life and my FFA career, even from about the 5th grade. You sat there and watched me take notes in alumni meetings and even help hand out popcorn at FFA concessions. You started me out as a freshman and gave it over to Miss Blackwell to continue my ag education experience. Ms. Blackwell, thank you for coming in as a student teacher and letting us convince you to stay, even though Kansas does not smell near as good as California orange trees. Your hard work really helped me to realize who I am and to help push me to be the person I am today. Thank you for going with every idea, even if some of them were close to 10 o'clock at night. You both have been an instrumental part in who I am and who I want to be. Kansas FFA, my advisors, Mrs. Casey James and Miss Ellen Blackwell. When you first walk into school, the first people you see are all of the administrators giving you a big wave hello. From the friendly smiles in the hallways to, quite literally, signing things almost before school ends just so I could get in a very procrastinated state degree or other award. My administrators have been the backbone of Hiawatha High and my FFA experience. Thank you so much for always being there, even when it was a little difficult. Kansas FFA, my administrators from Hiawatha High School. Go Redhawks.
Thank you for your continued investment in Jocelyn and in FFA. Members and guests, please join me in a final round of applause as these remarkable individuals exit the stage. Throughout the 105 counties in Kansas, Kansas FFA is home to 224 chapters. FFA is an organization that starts from the ground up. Everyone who has worn the blue jacket can tell you a story about what they did at their chapter. From community service to traveling and all the things in between, what happens at the chapter level is very impactful for all. One of Kansas's main industries is agriculture, and by getting involved, we can make a difference. Chapters all across Kansas work hard to improve agriculture and help grow the leaders needed for tomorrow. The chapters that have gone above and beyond in areas and have spent hours building their communities, growing leaders, and strengthening agriculture. Those chapters who have excelled in completing the task will now be recognized for doing excellent work. Mr. Secretary, please read the names of the award-winning chapters.
In the Silver Division, the Beloit FFA Chapter, the Cherryville FFA Chapter, the Coffeyville FFA Chapter, the Fairfield FFA Chapter, the Girard FFA Chapter, the Iola FFA Chapter, the Pratt FFA Chapter, the Renwick FFA Chapter, the Smith Center FFA Chapter, the Valley Heights FFA Chapter, the West Elk FFA Chapter, let's give the chapters in the Silver Division another round of applause. The chapters ranking in the Gold Division are the Arkansas City FFA Chapter, the Buhler FFA Chapter, the Canton Galva FFA Chapter, the Chapman FFA Chapter, the Clay Center FFA Chapter, the Dexter FFA Chapter, the El Saline FFA Chapter, the Ellsworth FFA Chapter, the Hayes FFA Chapter, the Holton FFA Chapter, the Hugoton FFA Chapter, The Jayhawk Lynn FFA chapter. The McLouth FFA chapter. The Minneapolis FFA chapter. The Mission Valley FFA chapter. The Oxford FFA chapter. The Republic County FFA chapter. The Riverton FFA chapter. The Royal Valley FFA chapter. The Sedan FFA chapter. The Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. The Tonganoxie FFA chapter. The Udall FFA chapter. Let's give all the chapters receiving recognition in the National Chapter Award one more round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Advisors help guide FFA members as the need arises. We are forever grateful for our advisors who help us and guide us. My advisor helped me, and I have watched her help so many others that she has came across. I know that I would not be where I am at today without her. We all have people in our lives that we look up to and someone we call on when we need a helping hand. This year, the state officers and I have had the opportunity to watch Mr. Shoulders be that helping hand for members and advisors of Kansas FFA. Mr. Shoulders is right there if anyone needs it and is always willing to listen. Here to present remarks regarding the state of ag education, our state advisor, Mr. Guy Shoulders.
Can't see real well, but can I get a show of hands if this is your first time to experience the Kansas FFA convention in person? What an awesome experience this is, isn't it? It's incredible. Mine too, my first time too. You may not realize it yet, but it's experiences like this that will truly shape your life. I can still recall many of the experiences that I had as an FFA member some 40 years ago. I'm reminded today of my first speech contest. I was a freshman and unprepared and extremely nervous, a combination of characteristics that led to several trips to the restroom. One of them resulted in a wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, you guessed it. The zipper on my fly went down, but wouldn't come back up. That didn't help calm my nerves any. But luckily, with the help of some safety pins off of some upperclassman's jacket, I was able to somewhat repair my wardrobe malfunction and be able to give my remarks, my speech. You're probably thinking that an inspirational message like this would result in me winning the gold medal that evening, despite my troubles. Did that happen? Heck no. I was scared to death, unprepared, and the only thing keeping my tighty-whities from the judge's eyes were the tiny safety pins holding my fly closed. I was lucky to get through the speech without passing out. And as you can tell by now, I'm still not very good at speaking in public. But that is just one of the many experiences, some with some success and some that were epic failures that led me to earn my state FFA degree and gave me the courage to run for state office, which again would have been really inspirational had I won my bid for state office. But I finished third out of 3. The winner was a 5'6" friend of mine that what little hair he had was white. Yep, I'm the guy that lost to a 17-year-old bald guy. The point of all this reminiscing is to say it isn't always the successes or failures that shape us. It is the unforgettable experiences. And often, the best experiences are ones that, given the opportunity to see the inevitable outcome, we would have chosen not to participate. Would I have entered that speech contest knowing about my inevitable wardrobe malfunction? Had I known I would have lost, would I run for state office? Probably not, but I'm so glad I did. Now, that's not to say that winning doesn't matter. Of course it does. I think it was Confucius who said, if they keep score, you should try to win. Or maybe that was an ag teacher. It sounds like something an ag teacher might say. Regardless, winning or trying to win isn't everything, but it is important. My son-in-law, Tyson, was a coach, and he used to tell his teams, we may not win every game, we won't win every game, but we can compete on every play in every game. The truth is, he had some teams that really didn't win much at all, but he made sure they competed. And by focusing on competing on every play, in practice and in games, his teams performed at a much higher level than anyone expected. A year ago yesterday was a hard day for me and my family. Tyson lost a hard-fought battle with cancer. For over a year, he competed hard every day in that battle for his life. As a young man in his 30s, a new family, 2 young sons, finding ways to complain and be bitter about his situation would have been easy, maybe even expected, but he never did. He focused on competing, trying to get better every single day. Today, the school he coached at has adopted this motto, and it's plastered all over the school. Compete. Be better, not bitter. Now, competing doesn't mean winning. It's the act of striving to win. That's what's so great about Kansas FFA. There are so many ways for members to participate and to compete, providing countless chances for you to make those incredible experiences that will shape your future. All you have to do is take advantage of them. There are 229 FFA chapters in Kansas, and the demand for agricultural education programs has never been higher. 8 new programs were added just this past year, and more schools are requesting new programs or adding additional advisors for next year. The demand is incredible. The demand for our product is incredible. What's our product? You all in the blue and gold. Your leadership, you're willing to work, you're willing to compete is what is in demand. When I began as state FFA advisor, I set a goal for the state to increase membership to 12,500 by the year 2025. At the time, that was a lofty goal. Right now, membership stands at an all-time record high of more than 11,600 members. Yes. It's incredible.
I'm very familiar.
Now, I'm not saying I'm directly responsible for that record, but if the shoe fits. Along with that, participation in FFA activities has been through the roof this school year. Numbers of award and degree applications have exceeded expectations. Participation in district events has been off the charts. Nearly 2,000 FFA members representing over 70% of our chapters, participated in state CDs right here on campus a couple of weeks ago. That's incredible. We are making those experiences that shape the future. Now, those life-changing experiences don't happen without help. It takes a team, and in Kansas, we are blessed with an awesome team. It starts with an extraordinary coaching staff. For Ag Ed and FFA, it's our advisors, and we have some awesome advisors in FFA in Kansas. You also have some great leaders to look up to, like your current and past state officers and all the volunteers that stay connected to Ag Ed and FFA and help make things like this convention possible. Without them, it wouldn't be. You have outstanding people here at K-State who do so much to train, recruit, inspire, and retain our teachers. We have other great partners like the Alumni and Supporters Group who do so much at the local and state level, and the FFA Foundation and their Board of Trustees, led by Beth and Joanna, who do much more than just provide the financial sponsorship for our activities. And would these next level activities be possible without the one and only Miss Mary Kane? I think not. It's truly been a great year, but let's continue to make Kansas Ag Ed and FFA even better. How can you help? First, recruit. Encourage your fellow students that are not FFA members to join. Even though we are experiencing record membership, there are still a number of students who take Ag Ed courses that aren't FFA members. My question is why? To get to those experiences, they need to be an FFA. That's important. Our goal shouldn't be just to increase enrollment in agricultural education, but increase chapter membership in your FFA chapters to 100% of those students taking the Ag Ed courses. And with that comes the second part of what I ask of you. Participate. Participate. Participate in even more activities than you are now. As Ms. Kane says, risk boldly and try new things. Even if your zipper may fail or you lose to a bald guy, those experiences might be just what you need to shape your future. You never know unless you try. It's truly been an honor to serve as your state FFA advisor. Thank you for welcoming me back home to Kansas.
Mr. Shoulders, the Kansas FFA Association is truly grateful for your helping hand. As state advisor, you've shown your investment in members and advisors all across our state. The state officers and I are truly thankful for you showing up to events for us and standing in our corner. This is just one of the many ways you've shown your dedication to us and Kansas FFA. Thank you for an amazing first year and for many more to come. Kansas FFA, I am proud to introduce our Kansas FFA advisor, Mr. Guy Shoulders. Kansas has many great trivial questions, like, what is our state flower? The sunflower. Or to questions like, what is our state motto? Ad astra per aspera, which means to the stars through difficulties, of course. There are amazing facts out there, and these amazing people do not need Google to remember them. It took repetition, memory, and a widely knowledgeable team to understand all information. These people have applied their knowledge about FFA and have put it to the test at Leadership Quiz Bowl LDE. The teams in Leadership Quiz Bowl have worked hard to tackle the hefty task of memorization success requires, and it has paid off. Mr. Secretary, please read the names of the top teams in the Leadership Quiz Bowl.
Teams placing in the 2022 Kansas FFA Quiz Bowl competition are: in 4th place, the Clay Center FFA chapter. In 3rd place, the Hugoton FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Minneapolis FFA chapter. And the winner of the 2022 Quiz Bowl competition is the Anderson County FFA chapter. Please join me in congratulating these teams for their success in the Quiz Bowl competition as they exit the stage.
Towns all over Kansas have many different sites. You can find a Vincent van Gogh painting in Goodland, and it is ginormous. You can also see the Big Well in Greensburg, the giant Czech Egg in Wilson, or the Cosmosphere in Hutchinson. These cool places of adventure spark attraction, and a great marketing plan can help for this state. These towns need something to help market, and they can learn from that. Members who participate in the Marketing Plan CDE understand this plan and execute it to a panel of judges to help see that a product is worth the adventure. In the Marketing Plan CDE, students research and present a marketing plan for an agricultural product, supply, or service. This award was sponsored by Fink Beef Genetics. Mr. Secretary, will you please introduce the participating teams in the Marketing Plan CDE?
Receiving 2nd place is the Junction City FFA chapter. And earning 1st place in the Marketing Plan Career Development event is the Paola FFA chapter. Congratulations to both these teams for their hard work and dedication.
You're gonna follow her? Yes, good job, guys. Kansas is known for its agricultural industry. From cattle to crops, we are trying our best to help feed the world. In FFA, we understand that to achieve our dreams, we have to put in effort. Today, members and chapters are taking steps towards their stars by developing career skills that will impact their future. These members and chapters have put in many hours and have dreamed big to reach today and head for tomorrow. Let's recognize those distinguished teams who will represent Kansas FFA at the 2022 National Career Development Events in Indianapolis. Mr. Secretary, please announce the teams representing Kansas FFA.
The following teams will represent Kansas at the national CDE competitions at National FFA Convention in the fall. In the Milk Quality and Product CDE, sponsored by Kansas Dairy Ingredients, the winning team is the Anderson County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
I placed first.
My name is Amelia Cubitt, and I placed 10th individually.
My name is Emma Self.
My name is Delaney Ramsey.
Their team was coached by Jeff Gillespie. In the Poultry Evaluation CDE, sponsored by Car Trust and Kansas FFA Foundation, the winning team is the Anderson County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
My name is Jack Crane, and I placed 10th.
My name is Mallory Wheat, and I placed 7th.
My name's Tyler Gillespie, and I placed 4th.
Their team was coached by Jeff Gillespie. In the Dairy Cattle Evaluation CD, sponsored by Royal Farms Dairy and McCarty Family Farms, the winning team is the Burlington FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Kiana Langton.
Hallie Finnerty.
Serenity Washburn.
Kyla Langton.
Their team was coached by Julie Carden. In the Environmental and Natural Resources CDE, sponsored by Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission, the winning team is the Clay Center FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Ryan Benfer.
Lane Musselman.
Jordan Chanel.
Shelby Siebold.
Their team was coached by Andre Flair and Ashley Tunn. In the Agricultural Communications CDE, sponsored by High Plains Journal, the winning team is the Ellsworth FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Rebecca Vague.
Catherine Bruning.
Noah Goss.
Tucker Huseman.
Their team was coached by Carl Don Stover. In the Floriculture CDE, sponsored by the CHS Foundation, the winning team is the Eudora FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Taylor Hadel.
Delaney Kruger.
Jack Habian.
Reed Richards.
Their team was coached by Abby Snyder. In the Horse Evaluation CDE, sponsored by the Kansas FFA Foundation, the winning team is the Eudora FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Ben Burling.
Jenna Melford. Allie Recheck.
Cody Loganville.
Their team was coached by Abby Snyder. In the Livestock Evaluation CDE, sponsored by the Kansas FFA Foundation, The winning team is the Fort Scott FFA chapter. Third team consists of
Sydney Pruitt.
Lexi Marciano.
Tate Crystal.
Regan McDaniel.
Their team was coached by Trent Johnson. In the Forestry CD, sponsored by the Kansas FFA Foundation, the winning team is the Holton FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Katina Bartle.
Kaylee Mitchell.
Jacob Hewitt.
Their team was coached by Alex Bartle. In the Agricultural Sales CDE, sponsored by Lewis Hybrids and KFRM, the winning team is the Labette County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Noah Wiley, Tanner Templeton.
Mary George.
Their team was coached by Dustin Wiley. In the Agronomy CDE, sponsored by Kansas Ag Retailers Association and the Kansas Feed and Grain Association, the winning team is the Labette County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Alice Carnahan.
Madison Helwig.
Lakin Geiger.
Dallas Hill.
Their team was coached by Dustin Wiley. In the Entomology CD, sponsored by Pioneer Corteva Agrisciences, the winning team is the Labette County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Peyton Merrick.
Morgan Hannigan.
Macy Clevenger.
Kaylee Dillo.
Their team was coached by Dustin Wiley. In the Farm and Agribusiness Management CDE, sponsored by Agmark LLC. The winning team is the Labette County FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Charlie Alloway.
Alex Meister. Blaine Smith.
Noah Wiley.
Their team was coached by Keith Guerin. In the Agricultural Technology and Mechanical Systems CDE, sponsored by Berry Companies. The winning team is the Lewisburg FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Matthew Sword, Wheels. Jackson Olson.
Their team was coached by Jim Morgan. In the Food Science and Technology CDE, sponsored by Alma Creamery. The winning team is the Lewisburg FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Lola Edwards.
Maddie O'Keefe.
Abby Christensen.
Izzy Moreland.
Their team was coached by Jim Morgan. In the Nursery Landscape CDE, sponsored by the Kansas FFA Foundation and Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. The winning team is the Lewisburg FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Reese Wrights.
Hayden Ross.
Katie Dillon.
Sammy Lycum.
Their team was coached by Jim Morgan. In the Veterinary Sciences CDE, sponsored by Zoetis and Animal Health International. The winning team is the Lewisburg FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Dana Knipp,
Ellie Davis,
Brayton Brugan.
Their team was coached by Jim Morgan. In the Meets Evaluation and Technology CDE, sponsored by Cargill, the winning team is the Minneapolis FFA chapter. Their team consists of
Liam Nichols,
Weston Schrader, August Hulse.
Hayden Lott,
Their team was coached by Christina Wallace. Let's once again congratulate those chapters that are representing the best of Kansas FFA Association at the national competitions this year. Your 2022 State Career Development Event high individuals are, in the Agricultural Communications, Sydney Mayer from the Inman FFA chapter. Taking first place honors in the Ag Sales CDE, Natalie Owlman from the Arkansas City FFA chapter. In the Ag Technologies Management, Trey Lockwood from the Horton FFA chapter. Placing first in the Agronomy CDE was Laken Geiger from the Labette County FFA chapter. In Dairy Cattle Evaluation, Kiana Langton from the Burlington FFA chapter. Earning first place honors in the Entomology CDE was Alex Lehman from the Shawnee Heights FFA chapter. In Farm and Agribusiness Management CD, first place was Charlie Alloway from the Labette County FFA chapter. Placing first place in the Floriculture CD was Reed Richards from the Eudora FFA chapter. In Food Sciences and Technology, first place was Zoe Rhodes from the Girard FFA chapter. Taking first in Horse Evaluation CD was Jenna Milford from the Burlington FFA chapter. In Livestock Evaluation, high individual was Reagan McDaniel from the Fort Scott FFA chapter. Earning first place honors in Meat Evaluation CD is Hayden Lott from the Minneapolis FFA chapter. In Milk Quality and Products, first place was Saley Pardina from the Anderson County FFA chapter. Placing first in Nursery and Landscape CD was Sammy Lakeman from the Lewisburg FFA chapter. In the Poultry Evaluation CD, first place was Janie Pond from the Caney FFA chapter. And finally, earning first place honors in the Veterinary Sciences CD was Aiden Yoho from the Yates Center FFA chapter. Join me again in giving a round of applause to all of our high individuals in the Kansas FFA State Career Development events as they exit the stage. In the Nursery Landscape CDE. Thank you to the Kansas FFA Foundation and Steel Outdoor Power Equipment for graciously providing the $1,000 scholarships to the top 4 individuals. Here to present those scholarships and certificates is member of the Steel team, Mr. Kevin Vezdez. The individuals earning these scholarships are, from the Lewisburg FFA chapter, Sammy Lincoln, Katie Dillon, and Hayden Ross. From the Labette County FFA chapter, Lakin Geiger. Congratulations to our Steel Outdoor Power Scholarship recipients. Taking place in Oklahoma City and sponsored by John Deere, the teams that recently represented the Kansas FFA Association at the 2022 National Land, Home Site, and Range competitions were the Holton FFA chapter, the Hugoton FFA chapter, the Ingalls FFA chapter, the Ingalls FFA chapter, the Ottawa FFA chapter, the South Haven FFA chapter, the Stockton FFA chapter, the Tonganoxie FFA chapter, Please give another round of applause to our National Land and Home Site and Range teams.
If you have ever taken a look at our state seal, you can see a very in-depth image of Kansas. You can see the beautiful rising sun, the bison running like the wind, and front and center, you can see a plow. In FFA, the plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. For without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. These next chapters have embodied the labor of the plow and have had success in many different career development events. As chapters, they have pushed members to compete in several CDEs while also maintaining the highest level of performance. We will now recognize those who have scored the highest and the largest number of these competitions. Mr. Secretary, will you please read the names of the chapters excelling in the CDE sweepstakes?
This year's sweepstakes teams in ranking order are: in 5th place, the Girard FFA chapter. In 4th place, the Spring Hill FFA chapter. In 3rd place, the Anderson County FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Lewisburg FFA chapter. And your 2022 State Career Development Event Sweepstakes winner is the Labette County FFA chapter. Let's again recognize this year's Sweepstakes Award-winning chapters as they exit the stage.
Our state reptile is the ordinate box turtle. Native to the plains, this turtle has been adopted by Kansas for 26 years. A more famously known tortoise is the one in the story of the tortoise and the hare. The rabbit in this story starts off the race super strong, but does not stay consistent until the end, while the tortoise takes his steps one at a time and stays consistent. While the tortoise takes his steps and he works continuously throughout the race, just like our tortoise, the FFA members here have worked continuously towards their career goals and are taking their next steps and continuing their education after high school. These members will be recognized for their efforts to take the next steps with these scholarships awards. Mr. Secretary, will you please continue the recognition of this year's scholarship recipients?
This year, 8 June Beaver scholarships were awarded for the students interested in production agriculture. This year, the recipients are Eli Ladd from the Newton FFA chapter, Caden Strop from the Prairie View FFA chapter, William Tice from the Renwick FFA chapter, Jarek Meyer from the Smith Center FFA chapter, Ethan Thurer from the South Haven FFA chapter, and Carson Hall from the Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. Please join me in congratulating the June Beaver Scholarship recipients. The Orscheln Scholarships are sponsored for graduating seniors based on scholastic achievement, FFA activities, and SAE development. The winners of the Orscheln Farm and Home Stores of Kansas Scholarship are Carissa Dahlquist from the Council Grove FFA chapter, Nicole Hazy from the Ellsworth FFA chapter, Katina Bartle from the Holton FFA chapter, Blake Jones from the Rock Creek FFA chapter, Jordan Sylvester from the Wamego FFA chapter. Please join me in congratulating the Orscheln Farm and Home Stores of Kansas Scholarship recipients. Ford Trucks is proud to award the Ford Trucks Built Ford Tough Scholarship for Kansas FFA members. The recipients of the Ford Trucks Built Ford Tough FFA scholarships are Amelia Cubitt from the Anderson County FFA chapter, Hunter Durham from the Buhler FFA chapter, Jaylee Giles from the Buhler FFA chapter, Marin Lackey from the Buhler FFA chapter, Casey Leal from the Buhler FFA chapter, Kiana Langton from the Burlington FFA chapter, from the Central Heights FFA chapter, Kirsten Blofus, and Cameron Peel. From the Chapman FFA chapter, Casey Butler. From the Clay Center FFA chapter, Lane Musselman. From the Colby FFA chapter, Allison Wells from the Columbus FFA chapter. Brock Scales from the Girard FFA chapter. Kara Ditar from the Labette County FFA chapter. Reese Wrights from the Lewisburg FFA chapter. Cole Lacey from the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter. Jenna Ratliff from the Nest City FFA chapter. Seth Ostrup from the Paola FFA chapter. Lauren Ost from the Prairie View FFA chapter. Cody Simmons from the Renwick FFA chapter. Carly Albright from the Royal Valley FFA chapter. Hadley Elkins from the Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. Aiden Yoho from the Yates Center FFA chapter. Please congratulate these winners of the Ford Trucks Built Ford Tough FFA scholarships. Finally, the National FFA Foundation is continuing to reward academic excellence and encourage post-secondary education through their scholarship program, with total nationwide scholarship dollars totaling more than $2 million. This year, 68 Kansas FFA members from 23 different chapters received a total of $119,000 in scholarships from the National FFA Foundation. The recipients will receive scholarships ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 for education at a 2- or 4-year institution. Winners of the National FFA Foundation Scholarship are, from the Arkansas City FFA chapter, Kais Morgan. From the Buhler FFA chapter, Macy McCabe, Marissa Oram. Caroline Wagner. From the Clay Center FFA chapter, Shelby Siebold. From the Donovan West FFA chapter, Brock Leatherman. From the Greeley County FFA chapter, Peyton Walk. From the Lewisburg FFA chapter, Katie Dillon. From the Minneapolis FFA chapter, Weston Schrader. From the Newton FFA chapter, Caitlin McMillan. From the Osawatomie FFA chapter, Grace Young. From the Oxford FFA chapter, Cassidy Chase. From the Riverton FFA chapter, Hayden Endicott. And Derek Larson. From the Rock Creek FFA chapter, Emma Castleman. From the Royal Valley FFA chapter, Brady Klotz. Lily Lefford. From the Seaman FFA chapter, Tim Biggs. From the Stanton County FFA chapter, Alexa Moline. From the Washington County FFA chapter, Michaela Juneman. And Coy Stom. From the Wellington FFA chapter, Caitlin Hain. And Matthew Price. Please congratulate the winners of the National FFA Foundation Scholarships. Let's give another round of applause to all the 2022 scholarship winners. Thank you so much.
Kansas FFA, members and guests, it has been an honor to be in this session with you. As we look at our state, the one thing that really makes it feel like home is the people. Thank you all for giving me your time today, and I really appreciate all of you being here. I now call upon Ashley Chandler to assume the duties of the chair.
Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Madam President. Reminder to all past state officers, the PSO reunion is already underway, so make your way to the Kansas State Alumni Center. Remarks will begin at 10. Finally, the sixth session will begin at 10:30 a.m. We will hear special remarks from Hannah Reynolds and recognize this year's state degree recipients. And one lucky member will be drawn to win a John Deere Gator.
Thank you. Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this session of the 94th Kansas FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this session adjourned.